Hi, it's Sara Finkelstein, and today is January 11, 2022. I want to talk to you about the market, the stock market, how it goes up and it goes down. And over time, I think we can all agree that yes, it does go up. But in the interim between different years, it goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. But when it goes down, what if it goes down at the most inappropriate time for you? As an example, I'm going to talk about actually two particular couples. And I wrote about this in my book, Wisdom for Women. Discover the challenges you must overcome to live the life and retirement you deserve. And this is actually on page 81 of my book. A very, very easy read. Not too technical, anybody can understand this. And on page 81, we have a comparison of two couples, the Hatfields and the McCoys. Now, what I want you to know about these two couples is that they're both age 65 and they both have $500,000, 500,000 in their retirement nest egg. And they both take out 4% a year. So they start out taking 4% of 500,000. They start out taking $20,000 a year to maintain their standard of living from their retirement nest egg. And each year that 4% gets adjusted for inflation. The other thing I want you to keep in mind about these two couples is that they both average 9% on their portfolios, but they end up with a different outcome. So for example, the Hatfields end up, unfortunately, out of money at the age of 89, while the McCoys at the age of 95 still have well over $2.6 million. Now remember, they started out with the same amount of money, taking out the same amount of money, averaging the same rate of return. Yet the McCoys are out of money at 89. I'm sorry, the Hatfields. The Hatfields are out of money at 89. And the McCoys at the age of 95 still have $2.6 million. Now you're probably wondering, how can this possibly be? Oftentimes people will say in my workshops, well, it's because the Hatfields had their money in one investment and the McCoys had their money in a different investment. No, they were both in the market. They were both in the S&P 500. Now, I think we're all familiar with the S&P 500. And we all know that, yes, the market gives and the market takes. The market goes up and the market goes down. Well, what happens when the market goes down at the worst time for you, which is as you're nearing retirement or as you're already in retirement, and you're depending on this nest egg to throw off income for you so that you can maintain your standard of living. So the difference between these two couples is that the Hatfields, that's the couple that ran out of money at 89, they had negative market returns in the beginning of their retirement. So for example, the very first year after they retired, they had a negative 35% return because the market happened to have gone down that year. So they actually went from 500,000 to $302,000. Now, granted, they took out their $20,000 to pay their bills and maintain their lifestyle. They almost lost, they went down 200,000, just about $200,000 in just 1 year. And how can you make up for that kind of a loss when you're retired? The answer is you can't. Remember I said that they both averaged 9% return? The McCoys, on the other hand, had positive years in the beginning of their retirement. So they had the same returns. The two couples had the very same returns, but they were flip-flopped. Whereas one couple had the negative returns in the beginning of their retirement, and the McCoys had the negative returns towards the latter years of their retirement. And that makes a huge difference. And of course, we can't control what the market is going to do, when it's going to do what it does. We just have no control over that. But what we can control is how much of our money we put at risk. So the moral of the story is, when you're ready to retire or already in retirement, is the worst possible time to take risks with your dollars, because as what happened to the Hatfields, they ran out of money before the age of 90, and they could live well into their 90s or even make it to 100, or as in our family, Aunt Lily lived to be 106. You just don't know. People are living longer than ever before. And because of that, we have to plan appropriately. I always like to say to people, you need to plan to live to 100, because you may very well do that. If you plan to live only till 80 and you make it to 95 and you've spent all your money, now what? The McCoys were very, very fortunate that they had a good market, that at the time, they didn't have any negative returns until, let's see, until they were in their late 80s. In their late 80s, they had negative 12%, negative 10%, and then negative 21%. That was 3 years in a row they had negative returns. Now, the Hatfields had the same negative returns in the beginning years of their retirement. But remember, the first year after they retired, they had negative 35%. So they were hit badly, very badly. And that makes a very big difference in their lifestyle. So it's important to balance out where you have your money. Where is it sitting? We don't want to put everything at risk, because we just can't afford to do that. But at the same time, as I talked about yesterday, we don't want to put all of our money in the bank either, because it's not going to grow. It's not going to keep up with inflation. So we need to balance it out. But remember, even though the Hatfields averaged 9% and the McCoys averaged 9%, they had a very different outcome. This thing does happen. This happens to be called sequence of returns. So the sequence of your returns matters, especially when you're in retirement. So please plan appropriately. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. And if you want to get a copy of this book, which has chapters about life insurance, about retirement planning, about Medicare, it's all spelled out very clearly, easy to understand. This book is available on Amazon. And actually, the easiest way to find the book is search by my name, Sara Finkelstein. If you go to Amazon, in the search bar, just search by my name. It'll come up a lot quicker than trying to find it by the title. And remember, the S in wisdom is the dollar sign, because this is an easy financial book to read. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with a valuable tidbit to share with you. Have a great day.